Hello and welcome to the channel. We'll talk about all things card games and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to talk about the future of Hololive OCG. Now if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials, links down in the description, and if you want to support the channel even further, please do become a member and click that join button down below. But let's jump straight in. So in today's video, I want to do a bit more of a discussion looking at the future of the Hololive OCG. Now, obviously the game's been out for just over a year in Japanese, and we've just had our second set in English as of the point of recording this video. And I think there have been clues lined up in terms of what the future of Hololive OCG is going to look like in terms of the English format and the Japanese format, and what that means for, say, a couple of years' time. So the first thing I want to discuss is an article that was released, an interview article, if you will, on Cover Edge, which featured Hiroshi Kawatsu from Bushiroad and also Reki Horie from Cover, who was the division manager and producer of the TCG development division as part of Cover. And during that interview, Reki said something really interesting. Basically said, and quote, "After the English version is released, I would like to hold an event where Hololive fans worldwide can play under the same rules. While live events are held several times a year, users can gather regularly to play card games with a strength of HOCG, being that it can be played under the same rules regardless of language." Now, what does this mean? Well, first of all, we have already seen that there seems to be an increase of frequency of the English edition sets. We are noticing that as of set 3 and moving onwards, it looks like sets are going to be released every 2 months, whereas the Japanese format is every 3 months. What that ultimately means is, and I think we worked this out, that come June 2027, as set 11 or set 12 is about to be released, if these release schedules are maintained, the English format will match the Japanese format in June 2027. And we will have parity in the game, which means that as Japanese releases happen, English releases will be at the same time, and we'll have simultaneous releases. And what this opens up to is a actual world finals that includes everyone in the world, not splitting it by Japanese and English edition, where the restriction list will be exactly the same in both formats, where the only importance of the language formats is obviously if you are in Japan or countries where the Japanese format is extremely popular. For example, looking at Indonesia, looking at Singapore, Malaysia, where the Japanese format is played very regularly at big WGP events. Those I would expect to see Japanese cards. However, in other parts of the world, such as America, Europe and things like that, I would expect to see English edition cards. I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and then obviously that will then accumulate into a grand world finals. Again, the World Grand Prix. Basically, it will include people from the Japanese format and the English format coming together and being able to play against each other regardless of language of cards, because everyone will have the same cards. All the cards will be exactly the same, functionally, just different language. We see that in the likes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, they have the TCG OCG format, but there are multiple different language prints of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that are used throughout different Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments. So I do think it will be interesting to see what that evolves into. Now, do I think this is a positive thing? Absolutely. The only concern that I see is that the English edition products are obviously more expensive. You will see a potential disadvantage to people who play the English edition, purely because, one, the distribution is not fully sold yet and is not as good as it should be, and secondly, the cards are about 75 to even 100% more expensive than they are in Japanese format when you do all your conversion rates and stuff. So I do think it's interesting what they're trying to do, and I think it's a really great thing to actually make this whole worldwide community, and it'll be, I think, one of the very few games that actually do it properly, which is really nice. But I do think that there will be some teething problems to solve, and I think one of those has to be fixing the distribution problem within Europe, within America. I know there's a lot of problems, and also trying to bring some form of parity to the cost of the product. So we'll see how that goes. Now, obviously, this is looking way ahead into the future, and looking a bit closer, obviously, we've got the Bloom Cup DX that's happening for the English format, which is what's going to a Bloom Cup DX final challenge, basically a world finals. And I do think that this is like a midpoint before moving on to 2027, where hopefully we'll have matching sets and therefore can actually play in a proper world finals where the World Grand Prix will actually be worldwide, not just the normal World Grand Prix for people in Japan only. Or World Grand Prix, like the World Baseball Series, are all American teams. But yeah, it would be nice to have an actual worldwide tournament series where there will hopefully then turn into, you know, at the moment with the Bloom Cup DX, it looks like we're getting unsponsored invites for the final challenge. But I do hope that down the line we will see sponsored invites, especially for the World Grand Prix, because this will help the game grow. And again, making it so that English and Japanese are combined and they play together will only improve the popularity and the player base of the game. What I do like about the difference between Japanese and English editions is that we are getting exclusive format promos. So obviously with English, we had the Mori Calliope Halloween event promo. We're getting the Fuamoko promo for Lunar New Year, which looks absolutely beautiful, and I need one. We've also got obviously the exclusive Bloom Cup promos. We've got obviously the Rain second for top 8. We got the Iris promo. They all look really, really cool. And obviously Japanese have got their own promos at the moment as well. Obviously looking at the recent Polka for the Bloom Cup. I think that, you know, having these language exclusive promos are kind of nice, but at the same time it would be nice to see promos for both English and Japanese actually be the same, because there are certain promos in the Japanese side which I would love to get my hands on. For example, there's the Alice in Wonderland Gamers cheers, which look absolutely beautiful, but they're Japanese only, and they also cost a lot of money, and I'm probably never going to get them. Help me. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, there are certain cards that, you know, would be great to have in both languages, but at the same time, having the exclusivity on format is also quite a nice thing. What's your thoughts? Would you prefer that English and Japanese had exactly the same promo arts across both formats, just obviously different languages, or do you actually like it where it's different format means you get different promos? I'm genuinely curious. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And with these events happening hopefully down the line, obviously that means that there will want to be more exposure to the game, looking at live streams to try and promote these competitive tournaments, especially the top end. We recently saw that the Extremer event, or the Extremer Cup, was live streamed and had casters as well as talent on the live stream, which was really, really cool. And that was obviously for the Japanese format. It would be nice to see that on the English format, where again we maybe get some English talents and some English commentators. Hi cover. Reach out. My email's in my bio. But yeah, it would be good to get that extra publicity. I'm currently working on seeing whether I can at least commentate and live stream the Bloom Cup DX happening in the UK in Manchester during BCS 25-26. That is a work in progress. There is no confirmation yet. As soon as I get any confirmation either way, you guys will be the first to know. Now, moving away from the tournament scene, in terms of the actual cards and Holomem talents themselves, what we are coming up to the point of, especially in the Japanese format, where they said within the first 2 years, they want every Hololive member to have their own Oshi card. And that means we've realistically got 2 more sets left. Now, we did get some announcements recently on the Hololive OCG official channel, where obviously we have seen obviously set 6 is coming out. We're obviously getting the likes of IMA, we're getting the likes of Riona and the Flogo girls. In terms of Oshis, there are other ones that have been confirmed, Matsuri for example. We also got some more information regarding some new releases. We got access to the fact of there will be an Advent and a Justice start deck. Now, the Advent one is going to be Bijou and Chiori getting Oshi Holomems, and then obviously all the actual Advent characters being in the deck itself. And then on the Justice side, we have seen that it's going to be Gigi and ERB getting Oshis with the rest of the cards in the set. So that means that CC still does not have an Oshi, which also means they missed out on the idea they could have done Auto Fister for the start deck, which would have been really, really cool. But also Rauda, we know that Rauda is getting a Oshi in set 6, so it's CC we've got to worry about in terms of the English side. And there are some English Oshis obviously that still need an Oshi Holomem, Looking at Ina needs one still. We still need one for Idis. Obviously, Bay is getting one in set 6, which is awesome. Crony still needs an Oshi. So there are still a few holomems, and there are still some Japanese holomems as well that are still waiting, and ID holomems that are still waiting for their Oshis. Ayala hasn't got an Oshi yet. Zeta hasn't got an Oshi yet. Muna's getting one in set 6 that we know of. So, you know, ID have still got some to get as well. But ultimately, we are at a point now where, if I remember rightly, there are 13 holomems left to have an Oshi. So the way they're going to have to do this is either do a, with set 7 and set 8, it will be like, you know, 7 Oshis in one, 6 in the other. Or we might see a bit more of an increased release in the sense of the start decks, because we are seeing, again, with Advent and Justice, it looks like that there are going to be 2 different Oshis, similar to what we had with the very first Soraz start deck, which is really, really neat. But ultimately, you know, I think that hitting that 2-year goal to get everyone an Oshi at some point during the game, I think will happen, which is really, really promising. So, you know, great job, Cover, for actually getting your release schedule to a point where that's going to happen. That's really great. It's a shame that we might not see the likes of Ame, even though she is still an affiliate. It would be cool if she got an Oshi, and there is space for her to do that. If you want to do 7 Oshis in set 7 and set 8, there would be space for 1 more Oshi, and that would be Ame. It's not impossible. Can we make it happen? That would be really cool if Ame actually got an Oshi. But I assume that the likes of, you know, Fauna, the likes of Galgura, probably won't get Oshis, unfortunately, because they are not affiliate anymore. They are just totally graduated, and obviously other graduated holomems will unlikely get one. Looking at Coco, looking at Aqua, sadly. I do think that they are on target. I think they're going to do it, and I'm very excited to see what they do with the start decks going forward, as well as what they do with the actual booster sets as a whole. Now, I know this video has been a bit more of a talky one, but that is basically it for today. I think it's been interesting to have this discussion and sort of share what the future of Hololive OCG is going to potentially look like. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts and your opinions and your predictions on the future of the Hololive OCG. Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely super curious to see what you think, and let's get that discussion growing. And, you know, someone might have an amazing idea that gets picked up, and you never know. You never know who could see those comments. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies, it's a bit of a rushed one. I've not had time this week to properly record because it's been my birthday. Apologies. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials, links down in the description. And if you want to support the channel even further, please consider becoming a member and hitting that join button down below. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.